Welcome back to the YouTube Barber Academy. And yesterday I was on my grind. I got a couple of videos uploaded. One of them I will probably release to the members tonight. The rest of you guys will get that same video probably Monday. And then I got another one that I'll probably also release to the members. And then the rest of you guys will get that the following Monday. But I've been thinking about how I could ramp up my content. And, I got a little bit of a problem. All right. I've been doing YouTube for too long. That's my problem. I've been on YouTube for over 10 years now. And the problem is I have a lot of the same customers. And I don't really do new people too often. I know, a lot of people would like to think that there's all these new people coming in the shop all the time, but I try to push them off to my other barbers. And I don't really seek out new people for myself because I don't really need them. All right, I've been doing this a long time. Thank you for the like already, showing up to the room. Thank you, I appreciate you. So right now there's a lot of information out there on the Andis Revite, and I trust that many of you guys have probably watched videos on it. And I'm just curious, based on what you know right now, right this moment, would you purchase one? I'm going to ask you guys questions here throughout this live. So please, do me a favor, answer them. And that way we could do it. Good morning, Anthony. Good morning, Wavy Cuts. He said, I'll come get a cut from you. Let's go. What up, Spirit Light? He said, is the Mythic better than the Boosted? Not for me. Spirit, you know that the Mythic it's just too heavy for me personally. So I would definitely prefer the Boosted. It's a personal thing, but then if you ask if you ask who was it? Get Beamed loves that thing. And there's a lot of barbers that really love that thing. So if you like a heavier clipper, that might be for you. What up, Amber? I see you. Good morning. Indiana in the house, really. Big win last night, no T. For those of you guys who don't know, the Colts somehow managed to play good enough to beat the Broncos. And you know what? I was pretty happy for you guys. I'm not going to lie. I never thought the Broncos were as serious as the rest of the know-nothings made them out to be. But check this line of thinking out. This is kind of interesting to think about. The old guard media, and I'm talking about all the know-nothings on ESPN and all the stupid little shows with Stephen A. Smith and all these other guys. Like, these guys, they have to focus on every single team. 3 months, let's get it. Rusty Blade's been a member. He's got his badge for 3 months. Hey, and shout out to you guys. We just got 50 members. We just hit 50 members. And we're going strong, man. So I just think it's awesome, and I thank you guys so much. Hey, what up, Cody? So where I was going with this was, all right. So you got all these know-nothings in the media, right? All these people who will talk about your team, and they'll say something that's completely wrong, and then you come to realize that like most of the private media, the YouTube channels, the guys who really study our team and our team alone, so much more. They know everything. So why would I go to ESPN and listen to some of these idiots go on about my team when they don't even know what they're talking about half the time? So I just think it's just kind of funny, So what's up? Are you guys gonna buy to pivot back to cutting hair? Are you guys gonna buy this Andis Revite or not? Just curious, just trying to take a poll. And Gamma just sent me a new and improved blow dryer, a new XL, the one blades in their original packaging. So those should be probably on the site pretty soon. I don't have an actual date on that, but anything that you put that on is a beast. Matter of fact, we put a one blade on a wall detailer, and holy crap, that thing will mow some hair down. I always felt like that wall detailer was like being underutilized a little bit. Like, it just has so much power. But it didn't seem to make a difference with that wall blade, even though the wall blades are good. So we got that. With that being said, I also did a little something with Johnny B, and pretty soon I'll be going to LA to actually do some work with Johnny B. So I'm really excited about that one, to be honest, because I've been teaching for so long. You know, people come to me, people ask me questions, people want to know the things that I know. And, you know, I try to put myself in positions to grow, but I just find myself in the other side of it too much. So what I'm kind of excited about is I'm actually going to learn the Johnny B technique. I'm going to learn the way they do their thing. And I'm also going to do a presentation for them on our equipment from Gamma and Stylecraft, because we're going to be doing, you know, something going forward with that. So they want to know about our tools and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see where that goes. But more importantly, like, I'm interested to try somebody else's technique. So he said, guys, what are your thoughts when a customer says, I would like a trial free haircut, but if your work is good, I'll stay with you long term. Is the customer worth a free cut? Oh, Lord. That one's probably like stepping on a landmine for some of you guys. God, I am in the traffic jam of a lifetime. I will never get to work in time. How does this keep happening? It's not even season yet. But anyhow, so one free haircut for a lifetime of haircutting, potentially. I don't know, man. You know, it's something that I don't mind doing and offering for somebody. I don't mind doing that and offering that to somebody. But if somebody offers that to me, that kind of raises a red flag. Why would they want it free? Let's just ask ourselves that question. Why would they want it free? And the answer is they're probably broke. Because if they had money, it wouldn't be that much of a risk to them to just pay you for your service and see what they get. This sounds like somebody who's trying to put some Sun Tzu shit on you and convince you to do an excellent job on his haircut for free, and he probably don't even live in that town. So, you know, just thinking it through logically, like, why would they need it free the first time? Like, unless you're broke and you ain't got no money, that would be the only thing I can come up with that. He said, no, I'm not buying it. He's talking about the Anus Revite, this wavy cuts. He said, no, I'm not buying it. My barber in my shop picked one up, and he hates it. I'm going to see if I can try it today. The blade pops off, and the guards don't grab hair. We'll pass. That does sum it up. That does sum it up. I did a full in-depth review where I literally mentioned everything I could think to mention. It is actually already uploaded. I just got to do I got to do some of the moves to maybe give it a chance to actually see some views. Whether it does, whether it doesn't, don't really care. I moved on to, I've decided that I'm going to redo the 6 phases, and I'm going to make this curriculum fucking airtight. It's something that there's a few things within it that I want to change, and there's a few things that I want to do differently. And this is gonna be a lot of work for me. It really is. It's gonna be a lot of work for me. Like, I really need to put more emphasis on shaving the edge up. Those videos, I felt like they were a little light, a little lacking. So I want to make sure that I get that up to where I want it to be. And then the other thing about it too is I wanted to redo phase 1, which is how to begin every fade. I wanted to show you guys, like, probably 3, but at least 2 alternate methods to begin your blend, and reasons why you would want to do them this way versus that way. So he said, I'm with you, Rusty. He said, I'm not getting the Revite either. What's up, Eddie? Let's stack some paper today. You have a good one. Peace. I appreciate you, Robert, for jumping in, man. I appreciate you. He said, no free cut unless I initiate it. Really, the barber says he's in agreement with me. Yeah, you know, that whole situation is a little weird. I don't have any problem with giving out. In fact, I would rather you give out a free haircut than discount your service. So what I kind of mean by that is I don't really want to cheapen my service to you. Like, if I cut your hair it's $40, right? But if I tell you, nah, man, I'll do it for 30, and we develop a little bit of a relationship, not only is this guy not gonna tip me, I'm getting fucking $10 less on top of the fact that I'm not getting tipped. And then the worst fear of all that I have is that I'm wasting time with this guy who doesn't even fucking tip or pay. I'm wasting time. I mean, I could have a customer who tips and pays, and I got customers who pay like triple. So why would I waste time having somebody in my chair that could potentially be taking up space for a good customer? Because there's a lot of picky customers out there that are going to drive you nuts. They're going to drive you nuts. And I'm going to tell you one thing. These people are not worth it. They're not worth it. There's people who will not bother you. They will respect your worth and respect your value, and they'll pay you more than they ask for. And there's tons of these people out here. All these people want to do is come and consistently see you, and they trust you implicitly. And these are the people you can build your chair with over time. And there might come a time where you got to fire a customer. Let me ask my next question. Guess what it is? Have you ever fired a customer? I have fired a customer. Now mind you, it's been about 20 years, only on like 2 occasions that I could remember. There has been others, but I really wouldn't call that firing a customer. I would just call that, look, bro, called, no showed me so many times that I no longer want to do your hair. And if I see you on the schedule, I'll cancel it immediately. That was a text message, and then I never seen them again. But that's not really firing a customer. A customer is when you see them face to face in the shop and you tell them that I no longer want to do your hair because I feel like you're costing me more money than you're making me, and I just don't need that. So, if you have that situation going on where you got a customer who's that picky and it just stresses you out when you got to do them and they're not paying you enough money, well, I think it's time you tell them I need to make room for people who will. I need to make room for people who will. Man, it's because they put this damn new light in. That's what's going on. This damn new light has Immokalee Road backed up all the way out to the fairgrounds now. Also, these people over here at this golf course are able to make a left now. How nice. For 50 years, they've been able to just make a right and make a U-turn. So, anyhow, man, we're gonna move on from that topic since nobody's contributing to that one, and we'll move on from that one. So, the next thing I want to ask you guys is, have you ever had a customer argue with you about the price? And I got a funny story about that one. One time, have you ever had a customer argue with you about your price? Now, this particular case, this customer sat down with Chad and started getting a haircut. And he was already getting a haircut when he goes, "Oh, how much is it?" And at the time, it was only $25. But he goes, $25. And this guy, he looks right at Chad and he goes, "That's fucked up." He goes, "That's fucked up." And then he looks at Chad. Chad just can't believe this guy just said this. And Chad looks over at me. He goes, "Ed, can you tell this guy how much it costs for a haircut?" And I told him $25. And he said, "That's fucked up." And I looked at him and I was like, "If you don't like it, you can get the fuck out of here." He looked at me a little dumbfounded. And I really thought that it was going to escalate. But you know what? It didn't. It didn't. He actually, he stayed there. He got his haircut finished. He never did come back, which is fine. But he stayed there and he got his haircut finished. And it was weird because, like, what I think was going on was I think he was sort of like testing the waters to see if he could get a discount. And, like, when he was met with, when he found the line, he was cool. And he stayed on the other side of it. But, there's people up there There's people out there that are going to look to haggle with you. And in fact, just the other day, Chad had another one. Now, this kid was smooth. All right, this kid was probably like 12 years old. He comes in, he says, listen, Chad, I got $10 and I really need a haircut. And he was like, is there any time in your schedule that you got free that I could maybe come back and just get a haircut from you? You know, and Chad respected this kid. He was up front, and he just says, all right. So he just says, all right, fine, come back at 2. And you know what this little guy did? 12 years old? He shook his hand real quick, looked him dead in the eye and shook his hand like a man. And he says to him, I'll see you at 2. And you know what? That kid came right back at 2 o'clock. Now, that was pretty smooth of that kid, because basically by shaking the hand, he sealed the deal. And that was going to be the end of that. So I just thought that was pretty funny. He said, argue? No. Haggle? Yes. We don't play that. And that's Jacqueline? I'm probably not saying that right. What up, Andrada? Good to see you. Thank you for being a member. And I noticed you got your 3-month star. So that's pretty dope. Yeah, so, like I said, the kid came back. Chad cut him up. And, a situation like that, I don't really mind it. I've given haircuts to people. I know Cody's in here. I've seen Cody do it too. And I've seen a lot of barbers do this. Like when somebody just comes in and they're straight up down on their luck and they don't got no money, that's another thing too. Like I've definitely helped a few people out. Not like it's been like a crazy amount, but I've definitely helped a few people out where I was like, look, man. And then when I get a customer who is like really grieving about something very serious, something like, something in their life has just really gotten messed up or something like that, that's another time where, I just feel like I can't charge this person. I've had customers go through divorces and lose everything. I've had customers, that really treated me well. For whatever reason, their life got turned upside down. And, you always look out for them. You look them in the eye and you tell them, your credit is always good here. Your credit is always good here. And you're not always on credit either. You know what I'm saying? You gotta look at it. She said, go, Chad. Amber says, go, Chad. I got a soft spot for kids and elders. Well done. I would have done the same thing. He said, always look out, because when they bounce back, they look out tenfold. That's Cody. He said, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's definitely people that are going to try to take care of you when they can. When they get back on their feet, they're never going to forget that. I mean, it's not really that much different than going the extra mile for somebody who asks you for something that's very easy to do. Really, the barber, you should have been a member, man. All you got to do is click the link in the description to any video, and there's a link there that says become a member. Or if you go to my channel page, you can click join, and you could become the 51st member. Haroon, what's up, buddy? Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining in. So then there's always people who are gonna try to take advantage of you too. So you gotta play that. You gotta know what it is, and you gotta play that. And as a barber, the longer you deal with people, the longer you wind up learning, how to read people a little bit better, how to tell when people are like spinning lies and when people are telling the truth. I feel like it gets a little bit easier, and it's kind of funny because my dad is one of them people. My dad is one of them people who just don't believe nothing. I call my dad and tell him, listen, Dad, the sky's blue, down here. And he's like, yeah, it could be, but it might not be. Like he will not believe anything you say. And even when he sees it, he'll, wow, it's what it looked like. But, does anybody else got somebody in their life like that they don't believe nothing? He's like, yeah, it might be, but for the most part, So really, the barber, he's looking into becoming a member. We got members who are getting their 3-month stripes right now, and I plan on redoing those emojis once I figure out how. And I'm trying to ramp up the new version of the 6 phases. And if any of you guys would like to help me contribute to it, Like if you just want to send me an email of something that you've really struggled with, something that, and this could be something that you no longer struggle with. I mean, hopefully it's something that you've learned, because like what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a video series that will stand on its own and withstand the test of time, and be something like a resource to whoever comes next into our game and wants to learn it. I don't necessarily need it to be about the tools, I need it to be about the tools that are important enough to get it done. But this kind of goes beyond that. I want this to be something that somebody can sit down with no information whatsoever to begin with, no skills whatsoever to begin with, and go ahead and start, learning how to do this. He said, any tips for getting better at cutting hair using scissors only? Absolutely. Oh, absolutely, man. There's so many things that people will teach you about scissors, and I'm just going to tell you this. It does not have to be complicated. It really doesn't have to be complicated, and a lot of people online are teaching some shit that is it just goes beyond what anybody would ever ask for at the shop. Maybe in Europe, maybe in the UK, maybe, people expect to have their haircut like that, but there's different ways to accomplish that exact same thing. The one thing I will work on, make sure that you know how to do shear over comb, because you could essentially shape any type of haircut with shear over comb. Man, fuck this. I'm going to take a whole different way, and hopefully I still get there on time, man, because this is just getting insane. I cannot believe, everybody else try to take that way too. I'm definitely not going to make it on time. But yeah, and then the other thing is, dude, like when I was telling you guys to create the Mohawk guideline and move it out to the sides, you work with a stationary guideline, you work with a traveling guideline at the same time. And this is as simple as it could possibly be, and it's gotten me by for 20 years. So it works, and it doesn't need to be complicated. Haroon said, when watching the news about the hurricane, I kept hearing Naples, Naples. It finally clicked. I know you from Naples. I hope you and your fam and customers and everybody's good. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everybody is good. Like I said, man, if you guys would have watched my live during Hurricane Ian, where I was at, it was really not much. It was a normal, like, I wouldn't say it's a like maybe a little bit above normal weather event for us. We didn't lose power. We didn't really have any issues. So, I mean, the worst thing that happened to me was a rose bush that I have in the back. It kind of blew over, and I had to throw it away. But there is people down here that have really been hit hard. And it's mostly the people who are down at the beach, near the beach, and then the people in Fort Myers, they got hit way worse. The storm surge is something that caused more damage. Even though Hurricane Irma was more of a direct hit, went directly over my house, it was a fast moving storm. I mean, it came through at like breakneck speed, and it was in and out in a half hour. I mean, a half hour was kind of the worst of it. But this one just moved at the pace of a man walking by with a cane, and it just dumped rain and created something pretty bad there. Sort of reminds me of this book I was reading. There was these two generals, right? And they were discussing a war strategy. And they said that there's basically two ways to wage a war. One of the ways is you are extremely brutal, ruthless, and you destroy everything and everyone in your path until you get to your goal. And what typically happens in this situation is you don't have to kill as many people. Because of your brutality, you can settle the whole situation, and you could win the war much faster with less casualties. Or the other way to wage the war is the long-term war, where many, many more casualties will follow, yet the fighting is slightly less brutal. I always thought that was kind of interesting because I feel like that really does make sense, you know? And in a way, you could look at that same analogy and you could draw it to business. You could say, I'm going to go really, really hard at building my chair. I'm going to sacrifice everything and every one thing that I want to do until I reach this level. Once I second, but I think